Y'all, I have had it. I've had to work on this broken down table or squatted on the ground or whatever other little thing that's just sitting around is what I've been using as a workbench, and I cannot take it anymore. So today we're building a workbench to make my life a whole lot easier and these projects go a whole lot faster. When we got done building the fence, there was lots of lumber still left over. And I said, you know what? I think I am going to build myself a workbench. It'll be an outdoor workbench, and I'm going to create a little space where that's my dedicated space. This digging through the trees and fighting the bugs and the elements is just, it's just gotten me. Something's crawling on me right now. It's just put me over the edge. I need a dedicated workspace where I can come out here, cut a piece of lumber, put projects together, paint things, and I don't have to worry about all of the elements quite so much. It'll still be outdoors. There'll be some heat, problems. So I'm going to use Anna White's plans for a potting bench. Anna White has a website where she has all kinds of free plans that you can download, and I've downloaded them. So there shouldn't be a problem, right? I should be able to breeze through this with ease. So we'll see how I make out. All right, I have my plans that I've downloaded, and it calls for 4 pieces of 2x4 at 29. The gnats are horrible. So if you see some strange jerky motions, that's what it is. 4 2x4 by 29.25 inches and 4 at 45 inches. So we're going to see what it is I actually can find out of this mess. This won't be used. Nope. Let's see. This is straight. Ooh, look at that. So we've got 145. This one's very, very bent. Let's see how long. Oh, we could get to 45. Okay. Doing better than I thought. Let's see, how long is this one? These are all the shorts. Yeah, that's 41 inches. So there's a short. I think I can get something out of this one. Let's come in. There's 145 right to there. Can I get 2 out of this? Sure can. There we go. Okay, we got 4 pieces at the 45-inch size. Now let's get 3 more at that shorter 21-inch size. Ooh, whoops, there goes my paper. Oh, 31. So that's definitely going to make it. 36. So that's 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right, got them all. Now let's clean up my workspace. This isn't the best work table, the best situation. Now I'm gonna get my chop saw out so that I can get these all cut to the size that we need. And then we can start assembling. Hopefully this is the last time. Ugh, I'm gonna have to drag this out. Hopefully I can leave it outside now. Or out in the new workshop. Let's see, there were 4 of them at 29.25. Let's start there. Let's see. 29.25.
So now that I have found all of the pieces of wood in my reclaimed pile, I'm just going to cut each piece with my chop saw. Make sure I have on my protective glasses and all my measurements are correct. Alright, now I will get the lumber ready to cut for the 45-inch long pieces. These 4 pieces are the 4 legs, and the other 4 were the side sections.
Alright, that was simple enough. Oh, if you want to get a pair of these cool looking safety glasses, they actually have little readers in them so that you can see your line when you're going to cut, which is important, you know, with the older eyes. But so that seemed easy enough. I am actually going to go in the gnats. If you know anything at all, please put in the comments below what gets rid of gnats. We have never had them ever. We've had mosquitoes, which are just as maddening for me because they love to chew me up. We have, you know, wasps and bees and all those good things, but never gnats. And they are worse, whether you're in the sun, in the shade, the breeze is blowing, they don't care. They just don't care. If you know how to get rid of them, please, please, please let me know in the description below. But I am actually going to grab some lunch, and while I eat my lunch, I'm going to watch the video of how this all goes together, and then we'll pop back out here and hopefully get at least most of it assembled today. Okay, this looks fairly straightforward from the video. I like that she breaks it down and makes it stupid simple. I looked at many tutorials and they all seem just overcomplicated for no reason. So I'm thinking this is actually going to be quite simple. So let's see how it goes. First thing we need to do is what she said was measure up 12 inches from the bottom, because that'll be where the legs will rest. So let's do that. Probably a good idea to go ahead and do them all at once so that we know they're all at the same height.
So I would highly suggest using a combination of the video as well as the instructions, because there's some of the nuanced things that's in the video that are not in the actual written instructions.
Using 2.5-inch exterior screws.
But where I am connecting things together with those exterior screws, I pre-drilled first to give me a pilot hole, and then go ahead and screw in those exterior screws. This attaches that cross brace that is on the bottom of the bench. Now we'll go ahead and start pre-drilling and attaching that front section, or the front cross brace. This is where working on this table is not doing me any favors. I'm trying my best to keep everything level and square, but
It's not perfect, but it'll do. All right, let's get the other side done now.
We're just going to repeat the same process over again, attaching the bottom cross brace and then the top cross brace. Now I stamp each one of the leg sections up with the top facing the bottom, and that's what's along the table, so that I can come back and add the side pieces, which are those that are 21 inches. That's what's going to connect the front legs to the back legs. But you may notice in the plans it calls for 11 of those. I'm only cutting 4 because I'm not actually using the other pieces for the bottom shelf. I'm going to use a different type of wood. Since I have more of that wood, I figured I would use that for my top and bottom shelf. Now we'll just connect those two, drilling in through the side. So far, it's going together quite nicely. There are a few things that aren't quite perfect. It could be my cuts, or it could be the lumber itself. There is some twisting on some of the pieces that were a little more than I would like, but as well as the table not being flat and level. And anywho, we're making it work. It's going to be fine, and we'll make it work. Let's put it that way. Now the next step is going to be to add the braces across the bottom section. That's actually where the shelf will go.
Joker's heavy. Now I'm going to try to flip it. We're getting to the end though. This grandma is getting the hang of these power tools. Okay, I think we're done. We're running out of battery power all over the place. So we're going to come back to this to put the other slats in and everything, but we're going to get this all cleaned up first. If I can drag it up to the hose. I might have to wait till somebody gets home to help me move it.
Until then, I'm going to start cleaning up where the new workshop space is going to go. We have a lower deck on the side of our house, and well, it used to have a couple things over here, but recently it was just a dumping ground. So we need to get everything cleaned up and all the weeds pulled out so that it'll be a nice workshop space.
Well, good morning. So it's the next day. It's actually a day extra. This easily could have been done all in one day, but since I did use reclaimed lumber, this this whole piece needed to be washed really well. So I used some of the 30-second house cleaner. It's what I use on our house to get off mold, mildew, that sort of thing. I just wanted to give it a little extra time to dry in the sun. So it actually sat out here all afternoon yesterday. And now it's ready to be stained. So you remember that blue stain we used from the fence last week? Yeah, if you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link in the description so that you can go check it out. But we used a navy blue. So I think that's what I'm going to use on the legs of this. And then we'll go ahead and put our top on. All right, let's get this. I'm actually going to start from the bottom. So we'll flip it over and get it painted. Or get it stained. I always interchange those. It's a solid color stain, so it's hard to wrap my brain around the fact that it still is breathable. Now I could fill the holes, but you know, where I screwed in, but this is a workbench. I am not that concerned about the screw holes. I will say I absolutely love the way this covers. It covers a multitude of sins. Now with a lighter color, you do have to put more than one coat on, at least the kind that I have. The color that I have for the top, it definitely took a little bit more, and because my wood is just so damaged, you know what I mean? Even though I've cleaned it up really well, it still had some areas that were quite dark. So
Probably if I had clean lumber, it would just take one coat with the lighter color. Now it called for a plywood top, but since this will be outdoors, we want the water to
We
drain.
need the biggest pieces for the top. So we're looking at 49 inches and it'll give a little bit of an overhang. I'm fine with that.
So I'm cutting down decking boards that were in the pile, and I'm using that for my top. And I'm also going to cut them for the bottom sections as well. The bottom sections are those 21-inch pieces that were left over from the first cut list. And I've decided to stain the bottom pieces for the bottom shelf in the same navy blue color so that it just kind of blends seamlessly.
Okay, so as you can see, the sun has come out from behind the clouds and has made its way over to this side. It's like directly overhead. So it's way too hot. Even with the overcast skies, I was dripping. That's why I had the fan, but the fan isn't even cutting it right now. So we're gonna go in and plan, because as I'm painting, my wheels get turning. And this is all right, and it'll be functional, but you know, I gotta make it cute. So
I was thinking, since this will go up against the house, I need something to, store some things up above. And because I want to make it extra, I'll probably do a mural on everything. And I thought, ooh, what if I did the whole wall, the freezer that's in this section? But I can't decide. Should I do the butterfly or should I keep everything with the flowers? Let me know in the comments below. What would you choose? Is it too much?
all right, now it says to divide this in half, which it should have been 45, right? And it is, it's 45. So half of 45 is 22 and a half.
So I found the center of the side, and then I'm finding the center of each one of the slats that are going on the shelf. And I'm finding it a little problematic. And I think it's because my base is off square, but
That's why I think now would be a great time for a transformation tip. So I mentioned that I'm using reclaimed lumber, and that is starting to cause a couple of problems in the project I'm working on right now. But let me share with you how I actually get that lumber and how you might be able to as well. So my husband does construction, and a lot of times there'll be lumber that is delivered that he can't use on the job site. It is still structurally perfectly fine, but it might have some bowing to it, or it might be slightly warped, or there might be some imperfections that, wouldn't look right on a person's home. So those pieces get rejected. And I collect them from him whenever I can. And then that saves me some money on my next fun project, as well as I don't have to go running to the hardware store to grab all of the lumber because it's already here. Now, a way that you can get some of this lumber, you may not have a husband or friend or family or neighbor that, is in the construction industry that could save you some of these pieces of lumber. But if you head into your Lowe's or your Home Depot, a lot of times they'll have a cart that says 50% off. A lot of people walk right by it because it is a kind of mishmash of different pieces, but you might be able to grab 2x4s, or you might be able to grab plywood or something that is kind of generally used, and there might be a piece broken off, or it might be a little bit imperfect because the forklift has hit it when they go to move the pallets of wood. Go ahead and buy a few of those pieces. It'll bring your project cost down a little bit if you can add it into with some of the other full price lumber, or start collecting it, and then you'll have enough for a full project one day. Now, there are things to note when using this lumber, like, for example, on my workshop bench, I was having some issues putting in the slats for the bottom shelf of the workshop bench because some of my pieces were a little bit too warped in that section to where it made the table actually out of square. Also, it was because I was using that table out there, and that table is so off level and misshapen that is why I needed the workbench in the first place. So I've only used this lumber for ornamental projects or something like my workshop table that, yes, it's still structurally strong and sound, but it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. Stuff is going to get stored on that shelf, so if they aren't exactly lined up right, it's perfectly fine. As long as they're not going to fall out, we're good to go. So let me know in the comments below, have you done a project with reclaimed lumber before? And what are some of the difficulties that you came across when you were putting something together? I just kept putting those shelf pieces in the best that I could. If I had an extra set of hands, it wasn't so blasted hot in the gnat driving me absolutely bonkers, I would have spent a little more time on it. But I knew that this would be strong enough to hold whatever I need to store underneath here. It'll be just fine. It just won't be aesthetically perfect. But that's okay. Like I said, things are going to be sitting on top of it anyways. So I'm just attaching them the same way I attached everything else, just pre-drilling holes in the side of the shelf and then going ahead and drilling in those exterior screws. Once one side of the bench was done, I'm fastening everything from the other side. Then we'll start working on our top, and I actually stained this off camera because it's just too hot, too buggy. The camera was overheating. Oh goodness, it's a lot doing things in the summer, but I'm just fastening those down with some of the same screws, the same process all over again, doing the drilling the pilot holes and then putting in the exterior screws. And that's where things kind of went downhill. Do you see all of those really angry clouds? It rained for at least the next 3 or 4 days. So you may notice here's the final table, but it doesn't have that beautiful shelf that I was planning on doing because of the weather. It did get built, but I was not able to paint it or stain it due to that nasty weather. But that's okay because we will go ahead and do the whole mural, and it'll be a whole video of me painting a really pretty mural. And it's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited to get the roof on this section and have a proper workshop space. Please let me know your vote. Should I do butterflies? Should I do flowers? Give me some ideas. Those were just kind of a couple things that I threw out there, so I'm just wondering. Well, bye-bye, y'all. Enjoy a few of these bloopers because there sure were a lot of them in this video. Cut. Oh my God, the bugs! You hear a big scream, you know I've come upon a snake, and you'll see me disappear. Anyhow, I'm going to try to pull this up out of here. Oh, the bugs! They're driving me mad! All I hear the entire time I'm working is because the gnats are just bugs. Sorry, there are two. Sorry for the distraction. There are two cardinals that are kind of floating back and forth, and it's just distracting. Beautiful, but distracting.